Good evening. The rapidly changing and dangerous crisis in the Middle East has now drawn Australian troops to the region. This vision of them loading up has been supplied by our military from the Amberley Air Force Base near Brisbane. The deployment beginning in the last 24 hours, but exactly where they are going remains top secret for security reasons. Canberra is stressing this is not a combat mission. Their job to help stranded Australians flee the nightmare that continues to unfold and get them to safety. It comes as Donald Trump hits pause on his threats against Iran. In the meantime, the toll continues to mount on both sides, with Israel outraged over the latest attack by their old enemy.
A direct hit on the biggest hospital in southern Israel. Staff run for their lives. Dozens have been injured, the Iranian rocket punching right through the hospital roof. Iran says it was a mistake. They were aiming for a nearby military site.
They're targeting civilians because they're a criminal regime. They're the arch terrorists of the world.
Then terror arrives downtown. An Iranian rocket striking at the heart of an Israeli business district. Luckily, most offices were closed or evacuated.
It's a tsunami of bombs, not from the sea, from the sky.
Israel says dozens of Iranian missiles were aimed at civilian centres. Here in a residential area of Tel Aviv, high-rises blown up.
It was shock.
These women saw their family home destroyed on TV. Luckily, the place was empty.
We are witnessing a scene of a war crime.
Israel's defence minister going further. He says after this, Iran's supreme leader can no longer be allowed to exist. Following days of subdued attacks, this is the strongest Iranian barrage for some time. Incredibly, there's been no deaths here. People haven't become complacent. Racing to bunkers has clearly saved lives. Israel hitting back harder, blowing up what it says is an Iranian nuclear reactor. In Tehran tonight, Australia is shutting down its embassy.
We urge Australians who are able to leave Iran to do so now.
They've been told to make their way to neighbouring Azerbaijan as Australian troops fly to the region after taking off this afternoon.
To help Australians, they are not there for combat.
These Australians have already made it out, arriving in Jordan after a tense 12-hour bus trip from Israel. Next stop, home.
Jacqueline Robson is in Tel Aviv for us tonight, and Marley Hogan is at the White House. Jackie, Australians will now have a longer wait to get out of Israel.
Hugh, Australians here in Israel will have to wait another 2 days and endure 2 more days of these attacks, with land border crossings closed Friday evening and Saturday for the Jewish Sabbath, a religious day of rest. A bus repatriation is expected out of Israel into Jordan on Sunday, while this morning Beersheba came under a second consecutive day of attacks. Both sides are continuing back and forth strikes. Israel claims Iran is right now being punished with fresh attacks on nuclear research headquarters. Hugh?
Jacqueline Robson live in Tel Aviv. Now to Marley Hogan in Washington. Marley, the president has set a deadline.
Hugh, Donald Trump has vowed to make a decision within a fortnight, join Israel's fight against Iran or hold out on diplomacy. There is growing concern here that American troops will come under fire should the US attack. Inside the White House, President Trump avoiding public appearances today, a day of delay.
There's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future. I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks. That's a quote directly from the president for all of you today.
Donald Trump has set similar timelines before.
I'll let you know in about 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, we're going to find out very soon.
On the war in Ukraine, on tariffs too.
In about a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Speculation tonight in the Middle East, it may be a decoy. A strike could come at any time.
Trust in President Trump. President Trump has incredible instincts.
The president is said to be considering what happens after a US hit on Iran's nuclear facilities, the fallout 40,000 American troops are based across the Middle East, all potential Iranian targets. Tehran could also block the crucial Strait of Hormuz. A fifth of the world's oil is usually shipped through. Iran's ally Russia also watching closely. From the Kremlin,
we would like to especially warn Washington against military intervention in the situation, which would be an extremely dangerous step with truly unpredictable negative consequences.
US officials have made it clear any deal must include a ban on Iran enriching uranium, a key step to building a nuclear weapon. What's not clear is what happens when the president's apparent 2-week deadline expires. One path to a deal might be via Geneva. European officials are expected to meet with Iran's foreign minister in Switzerland in the coming hours. In Washington, D.C., Miley Hogan, 7 News.